So how good do you actually have to be to protect yourself, to protect your family in a fight? And what if you don't have a bunch of money to go to expensive training programs and buy piles of ammo? Let's talk about that. I got a message from a young stud the other day, and he says, man, I got a growing family, got a bunch of little ones. Me and the wife are working like dogs trying to make ends meet. I'd love to come train, but I can't afford it. Look, I'm pushing 50. My kids are grown. I got grandbaby now. And I remember days where I was digging for quarters to put money in the gas tank to get to the job site. Been there, done that. I understand. Thinking about spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars to travel to a training class was ludicrous. If I had that kind of money, I'd be going on a trip with the family, right? So then what can you do? What can you do? Well, a couple things. One, nowadays we have this, right? There is plenty of material available. Something that we've got to be able to do though is define some standards, some metrics, something that's acceptable as a achievable test, right? A self-test, and then we go from there. I just did a video on various targets made out of printer paper. You go check that video out. I'll put the link in the description to it. That is a very simple set of standards. What do we have to define standards? Target size, target distance, how many shots, and what kind of time am I dealing with? And that could be a conglomeration of all those things. It could be just some of those things. We can have components like from the holster, from low ready, compress ready, high ready, uh, from a turn in present. There are a million variations of standards that we can create, but we have to define something. What's the problem? Let's first define the problem. The problem is I am carrying or using a sidearm, a pistol, for the scary possibility of self-defense. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to extend my righteous will by sending projectiles, hopefully not Full Metal Jacket, but something suitable for stopping evil. So by sending a piece of hot metal into flesh and bone, and in doing so, stopping whatever violence is happening. We are not shooting to kill people. We are shooting to stop violence against us, period. When the violence stops, we stop. So we got to first define the moral and ethical and legal reason that we're doing this. I am allowing myself to extend my will. Here's my reach. This is it. 3-4 feet. That's as far as I can reach. If I lean out, I can reach a little bit farther. If I move, I can reach a little bit farther. But I can't stop you across the room like this, right? If you are actively engaged in hurting me or somebody else, this thing helps me extend my will farther, which means I got to be able to hit stuff. So check out the video that we just did on those definable target standards. This stuff's been done forever. For example, I've got some steel. My preferred vendors, TA Steel. That's a C-zone. That's their mini ADAP. That's a C-zone with that hostage swinger. That's a 5-inch head plate right there. The whole metrics of a target that I can aim at and try to hit. By the way, guys, I'm alone out here on the range, so if you don't like my camera work, volunteer to come run the camera for me. I'm just kidding. So we've got to define a target zone. We've got to define some distances. We've got to define some time standards. We'll start out with a C zone, and we're just going to work through some basic stuff. So here's the stuff that I think you need to be capable of doing. Of course, obtain a firearm, lawfully obtain a firearm, something that's in good working order. I'll tell you what, guys, people get wrapped around the idea of this gun versus that gun. This will blow some minds. Give me a used police trade-in Glock, Gen 3, Gen 4, I don't care. I'll go spend a few bucks on some springs and I'll use the plastic sights that came on that. I'd rather have that than just about anything. Why? Because it works, because it works, because it works, because I can find holsters and magazines pretty much anywhere, and I can find replacement parts. Not a Glock fanboy. I'm a fanboy of it works. And I'm also, if we're talking about this from the concept of budget constraints, simple's better, guys. Simple is better. You might go out and buy your $3,000 double stack 2011. If that's what you're doing, you probably don't have budget problems or you have spending problems, but that's not the nature of the video. So get a serviceable duty weapon. Today I've got a Glock 19X peanut butter gun. I don't care what you get. Work on and develop the fundamentals of marksmanship, starting with a safe loading and unloading process. Work on a master grip. We've got tons of videos on this channel, but just to do a brief overview, master grip is our physical interface to the gun. Every single time we touch the gun, we are ingraining some kind of habit. Are you ingraining a good habit? Training is going and learning. Training is sitting in the classroom. Training is going to college. Training sitting on the court with the coach or on the mat with your coach. Practice is when you go do it. So you've got to have some knowledge in your head to practice. You wouldn't go try to teach yourself golf with no idea how to hold the club. Don't teach yourself how to shoot with no idea of how to grip the pistol. So you may need to do some research. Master grip, lock the slide to the rear, seat lock, tug, cycle, press check, tap that slide into battery, verify the trigger guard's clear, dominate the muzzle at all times, dominate the space around me visually and physically, verify my holster's clear, and recover to the holster. That's very basic. If I can master that and also master the unloading process, remove the source of ammunition, cycle, lock the slide to the rear visually, and if needed physically, inspect chamber, breech face, magwell. Look away, look back, chamber, breech face, magwell. Now I can do whatever needs doing. If I'm gonna load this gun, seat lock, tug, cycle, press check, tap that slide into battery, decock safe if you've got those levers on your gun, verify the trigger guard's clear, verify the holster's clear, recover to the holster. And if you drop any ammo, scoop it. Let's do some shooting now. I've got my little target fill in since I've got nobody behind the camera. Boo-hoo. One thing I want you guys to notice is my sweet FUD socks. Somebody told me on the internet today that I was a FUD, which I'll show you FUD. Come see me on any wrestling mat, any range, and show me I'm a FUD. I'm just joking, but I will wrestle with you if you want to. Basics. Manage ammunition, dominate the muzzle and trigger guard all times, have a sure and consistent draw stroke from whatever holster that you're carrying, be capable of marksmanship, exhibiting good marksmanship with definable standards. The video that I just mentioned to you is based on this target array, which click the link, go check out the video. So today we'll just use this C zone. We'll start out with 2 round strings of fire. It'll look like this. Did I hit? Did it work? Does he need another? No, they were good hits. I will then, when I can repeat that over and over again, adjust target size. I'll drop my target. I'll go to the mini ADAP. Are you ready? I better move you so you guys can see. There we go. So, same thing. Up. Did I hit? Did it work? Yes. Trigger guard's clear, holster's clear. Now I can start to add things like this. Move. I can start to add things like this. Manage your ammunition, recover to the holster. Here's the things that you got to work on. Have the gun. Keep it in good working order. Know how to use it. Be able to exhibit the fundamentals of marksmanship on command, on demand, anytime, into whatever size target you feel you might need to hit at whatever distance you want to have effectiveness at. 3, be able to manage the space around you. By manage, I mean understand what's in it and what's not in it. What's in it is there children over there that I shouldn't send a bullet into? Is that a suitable backstop if I fire my weapon in that direction? Or am I target focused on the threat and not understanding that if my rounds miss or pass through, which they could, they might go into something they shouldn't. So managing the space. Do I understand what's in this space and what's not? People that shouldn't be shot, things that might hurt me, other types of life threats, and other life threats might not be bad guys. They could be a fall hazard. They could be something I walk into. They could be something hot that could hurt me. They could be all kinds of things. I need to be able to do that. And I can practice that throughout the day. I don't need to be on the firing range. As you go through the grocery store, your office, as you're in traffic, you can continually take in information. Awareness is the currency, just like money in your wallet. Awareness is the currency by which you buy time to act. You buy time to act on the road, the farther you project your awareness. I buy time to act on the street or in the space that I'm in by projecting my awareness. Here's the caveat. I cannot be aware of everything. If I'm at the ballpark, I don't need to be concerned about the guy selling beer unless I'm trying to buy a beer or that guy is somehow doing something he shouldn't. I can't put my awareness everywhere. So I need to look for things that are anomalies, things that don't belong. That said, not every anomaly is a threat. A kid on a unicycle is an anomaly to possibly being in a mall, but it's not a threat, right? It's funny, it's cool, whatever. Not every anomaly is a threat. So I need to identify, just like I identify a target zone, I need to identify what doesn't belong in a space. Recap. Have a good gun, know how to use it, know and understand what levels of marksmanship you want to be efficient and proficient at. Now go out and train those things. Have a very good draw stroke. I can't do anything with this gun unless I get the gun out. We can start to add time standards. What's a good time standard? I think, let's grab a timer. I think we should be able to hit a target like the one out there all day long in about 1.5 seconds from the holster. Does that make sense to you? About 1.5 seconds all day long. So I've got a timer here. It's got a 2-second delay on it. We've got some ammo in our gun. Let's just see what that looks like. And I'm not going to try to go blazing fast. First thing first, I better set the timer. So that was a super slow 1, 2, 8, 1.3 seconds. So we need to set a standard. I think 1.5 seconds to an A zone, even smaller than that. 1.5 seconds at 10 yards and in is going to be totally doable, inside the waistband, concealed, whatever. 1.5 seconds. Can you go faster? Sure. 1/2 second matters, 1/4 second matters, but most importantly is repeatability. I would rather be able to repeat 1.5 seconds all day, every day, than throw a 1 second and miss, right? I want to be able to hit. It's the first relevant shot, as my friend Vern likes to say, that counts. The first relevant shot, not the first loud noise, not the first round that skips off the neighbor's house, not the first round that goes into the car down the street, the first relevant hit. Relevant is subjective. Relevant has to do not just with whether or not you incapacitate the threat, but demoralization is not a course of action, meaning you scare somebody, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. That's not a course of action. So relevance is dependent. The one thing that we know is if we drive rounds into the parts of the body that control the body, we have a better chance of stopping or reducing the threat. Dig into the moral, ethical, and legal ramifications of using force. Understand what they are in your area. The last point, why do we do any of this? We do this stuff because we want to live. We want to protect our kids. We want to protect our spouse. We want to protect ourselves because living's cool, man. I'm off to go teach for 5 days. I love that. I'm going to hang out, have meals, have after hours drinks with these great people. I want to keep doing that. I don't want somebody to stop me from doing that by hurting or killing me. Don't do something that limits your ability to enjoy life. Don't do something stupid. Don't allow your ego to push you into that pot of hot water. Don't allow your ego or fear to push you into a place where you're, hey man, you did this thing. This gun is not some fear tool. This gun is used for the gravest extreme, as our friend Mas Ayub wrote in his first book. It is for the thing that we hope does not come, but we prepare for it. We are ready for it, but we do our best to stay away from it. This is Mickey with CarryTrainer.com. I hope that you enjoyed this little chat. Standards and metrics matter. You don't need a lot of money to be capable of protecting yourself. You need a good tool. You need some eyes, some ears, a good head on your shoulders. You need a calm head. You need to be able to back yourself out of trouble, not walk yourself into it. If you need this thing, understand that if I draw it, I have trained myself to the point that if I run that gun out, I'm going to hit my mark. I don't want to have to do it, but if you force me to do it, by God, I'm going to hit. And I'm going to hit until you stop. That's the attitude that you have to have. I don't want to do it, but if you force me to do it, I'm going to go until you quit. And then I will back off, and then I'm going to wait for the police to arrive, and I'm going to let the thing play out. But I'm not going to do it because I want to. I'm going to do it because I have to. And nothing else worked. That's the difference. That's the difference. So you can go out there and go to every class. That can be your hobby. I did that. I spent years going to all the classes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most of it becomes fun. You're not going to get some great thing that's going to change you from a 50 or 70% shooter to make you 100. That takes practice and ammo and focus. Is there a point of diminishing return? Probably. Do you need to be the best of the best of the best to win a fight? Sadly, you don't. You need to be good enough. And good enough starts with accuracy. Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands this. This is not a call to mediocrity. So don't share this or say, hey, man, he's suggesting don't have excellence. Above all, have excellence in all things. Excellence is where it's at. But if you can't afford to go do what it takes to get where some of these guys are, take heart. You can be good enough to protect your family. You can be more than good enough to beat the bad guy through skill, through repetition, through focused effort, through the fundamentals of marksmanship, through hardening your heart in the sense that I will win, as we already talked about, and through awareness. Be well, don't be dickheads. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out Ignis Lux coffee. Ignis Lux is our in-house brand. This isn't something that we are just paying somebody to make and slapping our label on. We are sourcing these beans from ethical growers in Central and South America. We're roasting in a fluid bed roaster, which is one of the rarest ways people roast coffee because it takes time and it's expensive. It's a bed of hot air. It's not combustion gases of cooking propane or natural gas or something like that. Very pure flavor. It's still allowing a lot of the health benefits of coffee to be there and not cooking that stuff out and putting a bunch of carcinogens in its place. Ignis Lux is Latin for firelight. It denotes the light that burns in you. It also, when we came up with this name, for me, makes me think of the lamp of liberty, of this torch that our founders lit long ago that is now incumbent upon you and me both to blow and keep alive. Let's blow together, friends. Get some Ignis Lux. Love you.